Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Bhagavatam class. It's a recorded class given by Srila Prabhupada in Geneva, Switzerland in 1974. Canto 1, Chapter 13, in Text 10. We request that you kick up the volume of your listening devices. Sometimes the recording levels are low. Okay, without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna.
bhavad-vidhā, bhāgavatās, tīrtha-bhūtāḥ, svayaṁ vibho, tīrthī-kurvanti, tīrthāni, svāntaḥ-sthena, gadābhṛtā, bhavad-vidhā, bhāgavatās, tīrtha-bhūtāḥ, svayaṁ vibho, tīrthī-kurvanti, tīrthāni, svāntaḥ-sthena, gadābhṛtā, bhavad, your good self, vidhā, life, bhāgavatā, devotees, tīrtha, the holy places of pilgrimage, bhūtā, converted into, svayaṁ, personally, vibho, O powerful one, tīrthī-kurvanti, make into a holy place of pilgrimage, tīrthāni, the holy places, svāntaḥ-sthena, having been situated in the heart, gadābhṛtā, the personality of Godhead. Translation. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage.
bhavad-vidhā, bhāgavatā, tīrtha-bhūtāḥ vibho, tīrthī-kurvanti tīrthāni svāntaḥ-sthena gadābhṛtā. So, tīrtha means holy place of pilgrimage. In every religion, there is the system that the followers, they go to the holy place of pilgrimage. Just like in India, there are many holy places, Gaya, Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, Haridwar, Rameswaram, Jagannath Puri, Navadvip, many. Some of them are very prominent, and still there are many non-prominent. Similarly, the Mohammedans, they go Mecca, Medina. The Christians, they go Jordan, or what is that? Jerusalem. So, human society, there must be some religious process, otherwise it is animal society. And in every religion, there is a commendation to go to the places, holy places of pilgrimage. This is one setup. Another setup is that bhāgavatās, tīrthī-bhūtāḥ. Those who are devotees, they are themselves Mahabhagavat, the first class devotee. They themselves are the holy place. Not only they themselves holy place, but wherever they go, they make that place holy place, pilgrimage. This is the idea. It was spoken by Maharaj Yudhishthira when Vidura came back home. Vidura left home. Although he belonged to the royal family, his nephew Duryodhana behaved with him not very nicely. So he left home. Before the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, he was very fond of his eldest brother, Dhritarashtra. So he was always giving him good counsel. My dear elder brother, why you are intriguing against the Pandavas? But he would not hear the younger brother's advice. So his son, Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, he understood it that this my uncle is always instigating my father not to take part in the matter of vanquishing the Pandavas. So he used very harsh word, because Vidura, although he was the son of king, but he was not born of the queen. He was born of a maidservant. Formerly the queens had many maidservants, and they also sometimes begot children by the king. So they were called Dasi-putra. By legal significance, they are not inherited. So Vidur was born like that. He was not born of the queen, but of the maidservant. But his elder brother, Dhritarashtra, liked him very much. He got him raised. He was younger, very nicely. He got him married and gave him sufficient property. He was very kind upon him. And therefore Vidura was also very much obliged to his eldest brother. And he was always giving him good advice and a great devotee. So, on this account of family dissension, he left home. And after the battle of Kurukshetra, when everything was finished, so still he had affection for his eldest brother. My dear brother, now everything is finished. You are all sons for whom you intrigue so much. And you are still living shamelessly, because you treated Pandavas, your nephews, very badly. You wanted to kill them in so many ways. You failed. Then there was battle. So your sons and grandsons all finished. And still you are shamelessly living in the house of your nephew. with whom you treated so badly. You have no shame. So in this way, he very strongly criticized his brother, and then he surrendered, my dear brother, what do you want me to do? So he said that you immediately come with me. Don't remain here. So immediately he left home, and then he underwent tapasya, and they got salvation. So here, when Vidura came, returned back, so Yudhishthira is receiving the uncle. He knew that our uncle Vidura was always in our side and tried to protect us. So he was very pleased. So Vidura, during the time of war between the two sections, he was traveling in the holy places of pilgrimage and talking with his spiritual master, Maitreya. So, therefore, because he was traveling in holy place, the Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to inform him that, my dear uncle, you are so exalted devotee, you do not require him to travel in the holy places of pilgrimage, because wherever we stay, that will turn into pilgrimage. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur says in his song, tīrtha-jatra parishram kevali moner bhram. He says to go to the holy places of pilgrimage, it is also a mental satisfaction. Actually, if one is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna, he is so exalted that wherever he lives, that is the holy place of pilgrimage. That was Narottam Das Thakur. And actually that is fact. The pure devotee of Krishna, he is always thinking of Krishna. Premanjana shrita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilobhayanti. They cannot forget Krishna even for a second, carrying Krishna. Therefore, because Krishna is with the devotee, such devotee, wherever he goes, that becomes a place of pilgrimage. It is also said that ordinary person, they go to the holy places of pilgrimage and they leave their sinful activities there in the holy place. That is the purpose of going to the holy place. That during the whole life, whatever sinful activities I have done, now I leave it here and I become purified. That's a fact. One becomes purified. But the ordinary man, he does not know how to keep purified life. Therefore again comes back home and again commits the sinful activities. And sometimes again he may go, just like in your the Christian church, they go to the church weekly and they, what is called? Atonement. So this kind of business is not very good. Once purified, you remain purified. So when the holy places of pilgrimage become piled up with all the sinful reaction of common man, a saintly person, when he goes there, he makes the holy place clean. The holy place becomes unclean due to the common man coming there and leaving their sinful reaction. So holy place becomes overburdened with the sinful results of other people. But in that holy place, when a devotee goes, then again the holy place becomes clean. This is the idea. Bhavad-vidhā bhāgavatās. The Bhāgavata means one who has his relation with Bhagavan. From Bhagavan. Bhagavan comes from the word bhagavat. And anything in relationship with Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, is called bhāgavat. Just like this book is called Bhāgavat because it has nothing to do with any other thing except the activities of the Supreme Personality, so Bhāgavat. There are two kinds of Bhāgavat. The book Bhāgavat and the person Bhāgavat. So, both of them so pure that wherever Bhāgavat reading is going on, and Bhāgavat reading should be performed by the Bhāgavat, person Bhāgavat, then it is very nice. Bhāgavatās tīrtha-bhūtāḥ. They are already purified, holy place of purity. Mahad-vichalanam nīnām grihīnām dīna-chetasam. Therefore, the Bhāgavatās, they travel all over the world to purify the ordinary human being because they are dīna-chetasam. Dīna-chetasam. Dina means poor. They are thinking. And materialistic person, they think, it is my duty to live comfortably, to give all facilities to the family or to the society or to the nation, earn your livelihood and spend for sense gratification. This is their philosophy. They do not know anything more than that. Especially in the Western countries, they are very expert how to adjust materially for sense gratification. Just like we had been immediately to the park, very nice park. They know how to live comfortably in the material world, but there is no spiritual information. Missing point. That is the defect of the Western civilization. They have got some vague idea of God, practically no idea, but human life is not meant for that purpose, simply living very comfortably in material life. So the other necessity is that they should know Bhagavan, become Bhagavat. That is another necessity. So this Krishna consciousness movement, it is the desire of Krishna that these people who have no information practically about Bhagavan, they should learn something from this Krishna consciousness movement, and therefore we have published so many nice books. It is the desire of Krishna, they should read this book and try to understand the Krishna philosophy, the science of Krishna, the science of God. Then their life will be perfect. Otherwise, this one-sided civilization, material comfort, that will not help them. Because however you may create your city, home, very nice, clean, materially comfortable, you will not be allowed to stay. That defect they do not understand. And after you leave this body, there is no certainty what kind of body you are going to have. There is certainty according to the material laws. There is certainty, but they do not know it. that body will be manufactured according to the association of the material modes of nature. There are three material modes of nature. If you keep yourself in touch with the material modes of nature, of goodness, then you will be promoted to the higher standard of life. Urdham gachanti sattva-stha. Therefore, at least you may enjoy material life, but you should keep yourself to the standard of Brahminical culture. Then there is guarantee that you don't degrade yourself. You get higher status of life in the higher planetary system, Janalok, Mahalok, Tapalok, Satyalok, then you get. But if you keep yourself as it is, then you will remain in this planetary system. This is called bhūlok. Bhūlok, Om Bhur Bhuva Sa Gayatri Mantra. This is called bhūlok. Bhugolok. Then above this there is Bhugolok, then above this the heavenly planets. There is system. And if you keep yourself in the association of the modes of ignorance or foolishness, then you go down. Jaganna gunavittista adhogachanti tamasa. Jaganna gunavittista. Tamasic means abominable character. The abominable character means these four things: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. This is tamagu, exhibition of tamagu. So if you continue to keep yourself in the association of the modes of ignorance, then you are going to become adho. Adho means down. Down means there are many other planetary systems, just like upper, there are bhūt, bhuva, sar, jana, mahat, like that. And down also, tal, atal, nital, talatal, patal, like that. There is system. So, our only request is that we don't criticize you because you try to live comfortably in the material. Do that, but don't associate with the modes of ignorance. That is very risky. That is very risky. At least either you remain in the householder life or brahmachari life or sannyas life. You keep yourself always in goodness. Then your position is all right. Otherwise it is very risky. But these people, the Western people, they do not do that. They keep themselves in the modes of ignorance. That is very risky civilization. So at least you, Europeans and Americans, you should know it and you distribute this knowledge. It is your duty to save them. But these, they do not know it. As soon as there is talk of this goodness and sinful activity, immediately they go away. Immediately. Yesterday the gentleman came and he began to talk about pious activities and impious activities. He immediately left. I have got another meeting. So this is the position. Murkhaya upadesha hi prakopaya na sāntaya. If one is a foolish person, if you give him good instruction, he will be angry. He will not take it. Murkhaya upadesha hi prakopaya na sāntaya. Payapanam bhujanganam kevalam vibho. A snake, if you kindly give him food stuff, this snake is very fond of drinking milk. They are very much fond. So Sometimes the snake charmer, they mix milk with banana and give them to eat for their satisfaction. But the result, what is the result? The result is, as soon as it becomes strong by eating, the poison teeth becomes filled with poison. Just like with our healthy body, our different nerves and parts of the body becomes healthy. Similarly, the snake, most important part of the body, they have got a teeth. They keep within the pocket of the teeth, there is venomous poison. So when they bite, from the whole of that teeth, the poison is emitted and the man dies or the animal dies. But this is a fact. If you infect some disease, you will have to suffer from that disease. This is a fact. It is scientific. Similarly, if you are infected with the particular type of the modes of nature, then you will have to suffer life. If you remain in ignorance, then you will get the body of animals. Therefore, every one of you should become pure devotee, first-class devotee. First-class devotee is that in this age it has been made very easy. Simply keep yourself clean, not to indulge in the four principles, prohibition, and chant Hare Krishna. Then you will be all first-class devotee. And wherever you will go, you will be able to purify them. Wherever you go, wherever you speak, wherever you sit. So keep the spiritual strength intact. Tīrthī-bhūtāḥ. tīrthī-kurvanti tīrthāni svāntaḥ-sthena. The Hare Krishna mantra chanting means keeping Krishna always within your heart. It is not expensive at all. You haven't got to make a very exalted throne for Krishna. You can imagine that in my heart I have placed now a very diamond throne and Krishna is sitting. That is accepted. It becomes. Even within the mind you think that I have kept one diamond throne, very costly throne, because Krishna is coming, he will sit down here. That is not false. That is a fact. So you create such situation within your heart. Now Krishna is seated, let me wash his feet with the Ganges water, Jamuna water. Now I change his dress with first class, costly garments, then I decorate with ornaments, then I give him for eating. You can simply think of this. This is meditation. svāntaḥ-sthena gadābhṛtā. It is so nice thing. Anywhere you can sit down and think that Krishna is sitting in your heart and you are receiving in so nice way. They are not false, they are also fact. It is so easy. So here is if you simply carry Krishna within your heart always, in a very devotional service, exalted devotional service, and chant Hare Krishna, think of Krishna, wherever you will go, you will purify the whole place. svāntaḥ-sthena gadābhṛtā. It is fact, it is confirmed in the Bhāgavatam. Try to remain in your position as a devotee and as far as possible teach these rascals who are simply attracted by the glaring material, stones and woods, let them have some knowledge and do benefit to your countrymen, to your society, to your family. Thank you very much.
Wonderful lecture as usual by Srila Prabhupada. This is very, very nice. So many points were covered here. But this is the time that devotees You can unmute yourself and make comments, ask questions, so we can have a discussion about Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's given us such, again, wonderful, priceless information about Supreme Personality of Godhead, including things that we can do so simply to worship Krishna in a very, very lavish way. Towards the end, he said that. So, dear devotees, if you have comments, please unmute yourself and share with us your own realizations or ask questions that you might like. Hare Krishna. Vishnu Prabhu, would you like to kick this off by unmuting yourself? Some comments.
Shri Krishna Prabhu has a question, but in
okay.
5 or 7 minutes, or 5 or 7 minutes total you'll need. I didn't understand. But anyway, I was, in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada was talking about wherever the pure devotee goes, that place becomes a place of pilgrimage just by his presence.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, what places of pilgrimage might there be in the state of Pennsylvania? Because Srila Prabhupada came to Pennsylvania at least 2 or 3 times. So, do you, any view of that?
I know Gitanagri.
He came to Gitanagri. Yes, he came in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
He traveled to Gitanagri by Radha Damodar bus.
Mm.
So does that make Route 76 a place of pilgrimage?
I think the Dham itself, please.
Well,
I would say the Dham itself.
But not Route 76, or did they stop? I don't know if they stopped at a rest stop on the way. I don't know. But he went to Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the way back from Butler, he stopped at the University of Pennsylvania too.
Mm.
And then the old temple in Philadelphia, he didn't come to the current temple in Philadelphia. There was a previous temple in Philadelphia on Wood Lawn Street, which is maybe half a mile or a mile from the current temple.
Mm.
So that would be a place of pilgrimage too. I don't know if this other times, I don't know, but I was just thinking of that.
Mm. Thank you very much for this wonderful input. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada definitely made the point. Bhāgavatās, wherever they go, he'll purify the place. So then he put it on us to try to increase our Krishna consciousness intensity and commitment so that we will also become more purified. So when we go places, then not just purify the place only, but just be able to teach and affect the minds of the people that we meet also. He made that point. I'm just paraphrasing, but
yes,
like that. Which is
so
wonderful.
is it that if you go to the place that Srila Prabhupada was in Butler, Pennsylvania, that'll be purifying to you also?
He already purified. He already purified.
But no, you go to a holy place. Prabhupada was talking. You go to a holy place to become purified, like he said. Navadvip, Puri, also. Mecca, Jordan, all that stuff. Anyway,
he made a point though about those who are Bhāgavatās or saints. They purify even the holy places that other people have gone and dumped their sinful reactions or sinful activities there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've heard that a number of times in this lecture. He also mentioned it. So that's wonderful. Mm-hmm.
And Vidura, when Vidura came back from, at this time, Vidura is coming back to Hastinapur. This is quite a long time after the Battle of Kurukshetra.
Mm.
Because at this time, Lord Krishna had already left the planet.
Mm.
So it's quite a long time after.
Mm.
That's an interesting point. So he was on pilgrimage for many, many, many years.
Which means Vidura also, which means the Dhritarashtra also stayed in the palace for quite a while then.
Yes, yes. And it's so interesting that even though Dhritarashtra tried to kill the Pandavas, still they gave him a nice place. They were very respectful to him on more than one occasion. Sometimes people say that, it really wasn't Dhritarashtra's fault, it was the fault of Duryodhana. But here Srila Prabhupada is attaching blame to Dhritarashtra, because he was the father who enabled everybody. He wanted the kingdom for his own self and his sons.
Yeah.
So he identified Dhritarashtra as the culprit here, even though he didn't directly try to kill them, but he enabled all the attempts on the lives of the Pandavas more than once. That's an interesting point too.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that happens quite a bit. Sometimes there's some activities by somebody in the front, and everybody sees those nefarious activities. But then there's someone behind pulling the strings for that person to do what they do. So I mean, it's just, yeah, Duryodhana wanted the crown, but yeah, Dhritarashtra was very much in favor of Duryodhana getting the crown. No question about it. No question about it. Thank you for bringing it up. Hare Krishna. Any other comments by the Buddhists or questions that you would like to join in?
I think there's a couple of questions from Dear Krishna he would like to ask. He said.
Okay, please unmute yourself if you can talk. Otherwise, did he put it in the chat? Looks like it is. Okay. I have a couple
questions, I think.
But he says, please give me 5 to 7 minutes, then you'll ask those questions.
Oh,
I'm assuming.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what the chat message says. So
It's
in the
been
meantime,
6 minutes. It's been 6 minutes, and it's 6 minutes since he asked that question.
you got 1 more minute to go and keep in the time.
Hare Krishna, just 1 more minute, Prabhu, please. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Okay. Ansuya, did you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask Vishwagata Prabhu, and I'm glad that he's online. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance to Krishna Prabhupada. I don't know if it's my hearing or because I was listening to the class while driving, but when Prabhupada said that wherever the devotees go, the place becomes the pilgrimage. Yeah, so did he say pure devotees or just any devotees, Prabhu?
Oh, well, like you can look up there in the it's at the beginning. We can look up there.
I'm driving and I can't see. Because if it's pure devotees, I can understand, definitely.
Yes, pure. As Parikshit Prabhu said, Prabhupada did say Mahabhagavatās.
Oh, okay. So it's pure devotees. Okay.
Yep, I highlighted it. It says, those who are devotees, they are themselves Mahabhagavatās. They are first-class devotees. They themselves are the holy place. Not only are themselves holy place, wherever they go, they make that place holy place pilgrimage. And I can see that that's why towards the end, Srila Prabhupada is, pushing us, literally encouraging us to improve our Krishna consciousness, to come to a higher standard so that we can also do those kinds of, as a service, not feel big that I'm a Mahabhagavad, but as a service to the planet, be able to purify like that, especially without preaching. Especially without preaching. Then the preaching will have effect. Purity is a force, as it says. So he wanted
Thank you for
yeah.
Clarifying that point, because I don't know if I lost my hearing, but thank you for clarifying that point. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So the devotee think that he's fallen. Many devotees think that way. We got a long way to go. We're fallen. But in the end, Srila Prabhupada actually, scroll down to the end, he told us exactly what to do in order to get to the point where we can actually be more effective. So, he even talked about meditation. Here, I'll read that. You can imagine in my heart, I have placed Krishna on a very nice diamond throne, and Krishna is sitting. That is accepted. In my heart now, it says. Actually, then it becomes that way. Even within the mind, you can think that I have kept one diamond throne, very costly throne, because Krishna is coming, he will sit down here. That is not false. That is a fact. You can create such situation within your heart. Now, Krishna is seated. Let me wash his feet with the Ganges water, Jamuna water. Now I change his dress to first-class costly garments. Then I decorate him with ornaments. Then I give him, nice offering, food stuff offering. You can simply think of this. This is meditation. So he was that serious about the devotees doing that. It's such a nice thing. Anywhere you can sit down and think of Krishna sitting within your heart like that, and you're receiving him in such a nice way. They're not false. It's fact, and it's also easy. So that's hopefully a huge takeaway from everybody, that if you genuinely think of Krishna and the service that you want to give Krishna, and even if you don't have those materials available immediately to be able to use to serve Krishna, you can actually serve Krishna within the mind. There's a whole part of the Shastra where Brahman actually was told in one meeting that he went that you can serve Krishna very nicely, and he took it upon himself to do that. Until one day, and a lot of people know about this pastime, that he was boiling milk, sweet rice, I think, milk, I think it's milk. And the milk, he was taking it off and he burned his hand. In his the meditation in his mind, and when he came to, he looked at his hand was actually burnt, physically burnt. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying is no joke. You have to take it seriously. And how easy it is then to be able to serve Krishna that way, give first-class service from the mind to Krishna. So many things are made available now. I mean, just think about it, how easy it is to do it. So if we don't take advantage of our own selves. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to throw in. Any more comments? Dear Krishna Prabhu, can you now? Yeah, you raised your hand. So go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
okay,
Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All good.
Dear Krishna Prabhu, you can speak now.
Am I audible? Hare Krishna?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All good, Srila Prabhupada.
Right.
Yeah, I have actually a few questions. Okay, I'll start with the last point you just brought up about how we can also serve Krishna anytime, any place,
Well,
even
now,
if you don't.
well, I'm not hearing. Let me just see.
We can hear, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna Parikshit Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
My internet was unstable for a minute, so I didn't. If you made a comment, I didn't hear it. I was actually going to go on my cell phone to decide to see.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
will start.
repeat though?
Yes,
if you don't
yes,
mind.
please. Yeah. So my first question is on the last point that you were mentioning about how we can serve Krishna at any place, any time, even if we don't have uh, objects
Yeah, in
of
the
worship
mind.
available. He is in mind.
Yeah.
And our acharyas also in the parampara also have emphasized on that point. But at the same time, how can we make sure that if we practice that and at the same time don't become like a sahajya at the same time? So what precautions we should take in that sense?
We should. Well, do you want to take up that question? It's up to you. If not, then I'll supply something.
Well, we do it according to the order of the spiritual master. It's not that we don't do deity worship, but my understanding is that Srila Prabhupada is indicating even if you're not in the area of a temple, say, or you don't have, you're traveling, or any place you are, you can do that. So it's not that you avoid deity worship in your home or at a temple, but even if you don't have facility for that, you can also do the meditation this way. That's my understanding. And of course, he also added chanting Hare Krishna and following the four regulative principles were there too. So that'll keep us on a regular, steady path. Sometimes people travel for preaching or for other purposes and may not have access to temple situation. That's my understanding. I don't know. What do you think?
This first option should be, serving in the temple. That's the first option. Second option, when that's not possible, then you can do this manaseva like that and do it very, very, very nicely. But the fact that manaseva is there and it's accepted and it's fact, that is our fortune. That is our fortune, because it's not because we are devotees. This has been, again, this is the mercy, coming down to us, that Manaseva is also accepted. But yes, the temples, I mean, my Guma always says, if you want to consider something right or wrong, take it to the extreme. And then the answer will be provided. So, just imagine everybody is doing Manaseva. Who's going to go to the temple then? If everybody is doing that. That's why Manaseva is important, but it has to be put as second option. First option is temple. The temple is 100% business. The 100% business is Krishna consciousness only. That's why we have them in the first place. And that's where many people also can come, including those who are not devotees, to come and get purified and start their, the Krishna consciousness. That you can't do with your mind. The temple is one that affords that opportunity. Therefore, the temple, worship in the temple comes first. And Manaseva, but Srila Prabhupada put it there because people did not know that you can actually worship so nicely in the mind too. So it's good to have it, but still the temple is the priority. The temple is the first. Hare Krishna. At least that's my understanding.
If I can jump in quickly, I think I'm trying to understand Dear Krishna's question because I think mine is similar too.
Oh yeah. Actually, he's talking about Sahaja. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. How can we prevent
we haven't answered it yet.
into the Sahaja?
That's true. We haven't answered it yet. Yeah, we have to watch our false ego. This is the issue. The Sahaja situation that is a false ego. People thinking that I'm so elevated because I can, worship Krishna in the mind so nicely, maybe even better than the temple can do. This is false ego, clearly false ego. So just because that opportunity is there for Manaseva does not mean that you just, think that you're tops, better devotee than everybody else because I can just worship, that way. Still comes down to taking the temple as the primary place for worship. Now, the temple, everybody goes. So you can't make yourself higher than everybody else when everybody is on the same level on the floor serving Krishna. Yeah, that was an important point about Sahaja. At least that's what's coming to me.
And I think also Vishnugadābhṛtā Prabhu said following the spiritual master's instructions is
without a doubt.
Key point to avoid it from.
That's the essential part of
Yes.
the not being a Sahaja. There, for example, there are many mantras that somebody can chant, and so, but we follow those that are given in the parampara from Srila Prabhupada. That's and if we think we can do better or we have another method, then that we're in an area of danger. So within the ISKCON movement, Krishna consciousness movement, it behooves us to really study how the instructions of the spiritual master and how Srila Prabhupada, not only those instructions, but also how Srila Prabhupada himself applied them in various circumstances so that we can understand, how to avoid, doing things whimsically as a Sahaja might do. Of course, in the course of time, that is a big danger within every movement, including the Krishna consciousness movement. As things progress, people decide to change this and that, and then over time things get watered down. But so anyway, I think you get the idea. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear Krishna, did you want to add some more? Stand your hands still up.
No, thank you. I'm glad I asked that question. All the three responses have been very, very helpful. I mean, I kind of knew the answer, but I think it made my mind more clear. So both are required, but we should not be at the convenience of or at the excuse of Anyway, so second question, Prabhu, is about what Srila Prabhupada was mentioning in the purport, that sometimes when we give advice, and of course when the person is asking the advice, but I would not say the person is foolish, but out of acting foolishly, or he misinterprets that advice and then starts telling others that misunderstood version of what advice have been given to them. How do you deal with that situation? Just keep quiet or just stay away from giving advice next time?
but the damage is already done.
I have to admit that right in the middle of a sentence, I did not catch what, and there was a critical part. It says you're giving somebody advice, and he's done what with it? That's the part I didn't catch.
So somebody comes for advice, and we give them the advice.
Yeah.
But out of their misunderstanding, they misinterpret the context and the scope of that advice, and he starts, saying that, oh, this is the advice given to us, which was really not the case, because they absolutely misunderstood that. So how to deal with that situation? We just keep quiet and stay away from advising again, or try to do the damage control? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. Again, I'll defer to you first if you'd like to take that up.
Well, it's not just you, dear Krishna Prabhu, that might have that experience of giving an instruction and it's misinterpreted, and then people do what they would do whatever they want or do something different. Srila Prabhupada would also come across that quite often, where devotee would say, well, Shruti-kirti gave this example that he was Prabhupada's servant, and then Rupanuga, who was his godbrother, senior godbrother, came and said, Shruti-kirti said that there's going to be World War III in very soon, in a couple of, very shortly. And he said that you said that. So Srila Prabhupada called Shruti-kirti in, and he said, did you say this? I said, I never said anything like that. But somehow it was, whatever Prabhupada said was misconstrued that way. So Prabhupada said there time, unless you hear it directly from me, if you hear Prabhupada said, then don't believe it. That's what he said. So there's how do you know if it comes directly from him? Well, there's books, and there's letters, and there's recordings, and we can study them and try to understand them. And there's also with that mistake sometimes that happens, there's a discussion among devotees too. So let's talk to another. Oh, you've heard this is how you've heard it. Let's talk with some other devotees. Let's get their opinion about this point of information. Even a little change in a word can make a whole different meaning. I'll give you an example. So Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Bahudak. I don't know if you know. Oh, Bahudak used to be the temple president in Vancouver, nice devotee. And Srila Prabhupada wrote him a letter. She said that harmonium should not be used for kirtan and arti. So if you read one of you can read that letter. It's a letter to Bahudak. It was written in 1976. For Hare Krishna, kirtan and arti. So then someone wrote in their book, in their diary, kirtan harmonium shouldn't be used for kirtan or arti. You see the change? Kirtan and arti, kirtan or arti. Is there a difference?
Yes, there is.
Yes. Kirtan and arti will mean together when they're doing,
yes.
And kirtan or arti means in no case.
One or the other.
Yeah. So it's just that one little word change, and one little word change can create havoc. But so you check. I checked back in what the actual letter is. The actual letter was kirtan and arti. So anyway, those are some comments. You might have other comments.
So if we have a 24-hour kirtan, we can't use harmonium?
Not during the arti.
Not during the arti, yes. Yeah. Okay.
You can have a whole discussion about that. There's a whole discussion about that. But anyway, that's one letter. Okay. That's one letter that Prabhupada wrote, and are there anyway? I can give you information about that if you like. It's an issue that is a little tricky, but.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada also wrote in 1971. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to a devotee named Krishna Das, whose wife and he were making a cookbook in 1971. And in the letter, he said, best to avoid mustard seeds while in your cookbook, because mustard seeds are agitating, he says. So
Okay.
when I joined ISKCON, nobody used mustard seeds in the cooking, but then gradually they started to come in. Everybody, so they used it for the chunk on idlis and stuff like that, and then it became very popular. And then on his way to from New York to Gita Nagari on the Radha Damodar bus in 1976, all those buses had kitchens on them. Srila Prabhupada went into the kitchen and took a jar of mustard seeds and threw them off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you make of that?
That's an emphatic statement.
Yeah, what do you make of that? But if you look in Jamuna's cookbook, Mother Jamuna's cookbook, there are a few recipes that she said that Prabhupada liked that had mustard seeds in them. So what do you make of that? I mean, I could go on and on. There's a whole, because I had, my service was cooking, so I had to know. Okay, we had to get rid no mustard seeds or mustard seeds. Or what should we do? Anyway, it's a whole thing. But so to see how, is it a time and circumstance thing, or is it for a certain class of people, or is it a preference but not a black and white absolute rule? Those things like that are considerations that Shruta Kirti asked Srila Prabhupada, well, how can you tell the difference between a rule that can't be changed and something that can be adjusted by time according to time and circumstance?
Mm-hmm.
So Srila Prabhupada answered, you probably have heard Srila Prabhupada answer about this.
No.
He said, that takes a little intelligence.
Yeah, I heard that part.
Yes,
I just wanted you to say it. But
so anyway, so
but we have the basic things don't do and what you do. So that would definitely guide us.
Yes.
Yeah. The main
things are strongly, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada say it's okay to take intoxicants from time to time. No. But those are well established.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Don't.
Strong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then somebody said, well, if you're in jail and the only food is meat, should you eat, and that's the only food you can get, what should you do? So actually he answered it a couple different ways, but anyway.
This is like a class in itself, what to do in different situations like this.
I don't know if that addresses Dear Krishna Prabhu's comment at all. I don't know.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. I think I indirectly, but I think I got my answer that we can try to clarify if somebody questions you, but there is probably no point getting in argument with the person you advise because he won't be able to understand it anyway. If he does. Actually, the question came from that the section in the purport when Srila Prabhupada says that if you're advising a person who is, I think he said something like foolish or he's not able to understand, and it's like feeding milk to the snake. He will do more harm than benefit. Yes.
So in those cases, Srila Prabhupada would encourage, say, chant Hare Krishna, have kirtan. So many times there was some disturbance, and then when the Naxalites were threatening attack in Calcutta at the Pandal, Prabhupada just said, let's just have kirtan, that's it. So sometimes that's the best you can do.
That changes the mood and everything.
And there's, that verse in the Bhagavad-vidhā 18th chapter that this confidential knowledge shouldn't be explained to those who are faithless. You know that verse?
Yeah. I don't know exactly where it is, but I know all that.
18th chapter. But if you examine or you research, Srila Prabhupada he gave many different explanations of that sloka. You could say, well, hey, your Prabhupada spoke unchanting Hare Krishna to a group there, and so were all those people faithless or faithful, or were there were some unfaithful people there, right? So is that breaking Krishna's instruction, or is it a self-selection? Some people say, oh, it's only the confidential part of Bhagavad Gita, the 9th chapter, 10th chapter, that part. But anyway,
That's
so it depends on the relationship you have with a person and their openness to hear. Sometimes people are not open to hear, so then you just stick with the basic stuff. Chant Hare Krishna, like Lord Chaitanya said, even to Jagai Mate, stick with that. We can't go further. And
very important, actually. Yeah. Anyway, they're actually good discussions. So these discussions like that, because it kind of clarifies the situation. I know one function that I went to was a meeting in the weekend in Dallas, and we should get up with your god brother. I think his name is Dravida.
Oh yeah, I know Dravida. Yeah, he's New York.
Yeah, it was his turn. Yeah, and he talked about the situation with those who are printing Srila Prabhupada's books, especially the Bhagavad Gita, and there have been some things in there that had been paraphrased, and the whole point was sometimes it's dangerous to do that because you lose the meaning of it. You change some words, as you've already given one example about it, and versus or. So yeah, it was a whole hour of discussion, and the whole devotee's point, the point to him, because he was the one that was talking at that time, is that they should really guard against trying to make too many changes in the Bhagavad Gita and just stick with what Srila Prabhupada said. And the point was, even if the English grammar was not what we're used to or we've been taught, but the meaning is there. Some people were saying, even keep that grammar the same way, the way Srila Prabhupada said it, rather than try to change it and in a process wind up with a different meaning from what Srila Prabhupada wanted. So anyway, there was a whole long discussion, a very spirited discussion that we had at that time. I just sat down, I was new to all of this. This was 2005. And the devotees were discussing it. The gurus were there, and many of your God family members were there. And this was they felt very strongly that don't do anything to change what Srila Prabhupada meant when he said what he said. Those of you printing his books, that was the message that they gave to the people, and he was in agreement with it. So yeah, this is a very important, very critical point actually. So anyway, if I could add just one more thing from my own teaching experience. One point that Bhakti Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj made, and then I had real experience of it. He said that when somebody makes a mistake, they have to multiply that mistake by everybody that's hearing that mistake, that doesn't realize it's a mistake, and they're just taking it. And sometimes the classes that I had in chemistry in college are about 84, sometimes the highest is about 110 students in one auditorium. And if I write something that they don't know of, I write it on the board because it's new to them. I'm the one teaching. And I write something is wrong. I'm looking back and say, everybody has copied that in their notebooks. 110 mistakes from one person. It's that bad. So that's why you got to be really careful. So I had to, get to the point where if I write something on the board, then I turn around and read what I've written just to make sure. They didn't know the difference, but I'll read it just to make sure that everything I've written is the correct thing. Because that many people are writing the same thing in their notebooks. How serious that is. So if you bring it to ISKCON, that's the whole world. In Bhagavad Gita, that's got a mistake in it. The whole world. That's how bad it can be. So yeah, we got to be really careful. Hare Krishna. Anyway, any other points? The discussion? It just turned 9 o'clock, so we'd like to thank our devotees who have come on today. And please keep coming, because hearing is the first thing we have to do. This is your Prabhupada's instruction. Hearing the first thing. Chanting is most important. Hearing is the first thing. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. Vanchakalpatarubhesya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Srila Prabhupada.